Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's match. It's going to be Stevenson University versus Williamson Trade College. So, the Mustangs versus the Lions here. Williamson is actually the home team, but we have them on Team Red thanks to the away team requesting side swaps. So, we're going to be seeing that Stevenson will be Team Blue and Williamson will be Team Red. Going to be kicking it off here in the city center with an interesting lineup here for Stevenson. We're going to set up for dive here to start. Not sure if the doors are, yep, they are slightly glitched, as you can see there. As it goes, our matches are usually Fridays, but due to rescheduling, we had it Monday. And next week will be Tuesday, but we do still have a Friday match for the club team. So be sure to check that out. As for Williamson, the Lions are going to go for a similar composition. Dive v dive here. Going to really be taking an interesting look here. Starting from the point of view of 40 here. Team lead for the Mustangs. We'll be seeing how they can play this positioning here. They get a bit overwhelmed there by Cabraz to start here, as you're going to be seeing the Lions play for some well-situated high ground here. Not really getting any much pressure here from the Mustangs at the moment, as Stevenson's going to be playing slow and low. Point turn to start in favor of Williamson. Nade goes in, doesn't hit any, but going in with the dive to start here. 40 taking a whopping amount of damage, but just able to get out alive. Stevenson's going to have to try to play this smart here as they start their rotation on up. Nade hits in a beautiful spot, causing the Suzubo to be activated here. Point will turn as we see another dive going on in. Taking a look from Quits here. DPS for the side of the Mustangs. Trying to see what pressure they can apply on their opponents as they push down onto point here. Going to be seeing that Cabraz really trying to see if they can focus out their supports, but not going to be seeing too much action themselves. So Spanky is going to be the one in the front lines here with the Williamson. Taking a look here at Rapid Cringe, trying to see if they can make a play here, but not finding much of an opening for themselves. They can only really poke, and they're not really able to turn this point, which is a really big problem for the side of the Lions here. The senior rush going to be coming on out here as Rapid Cringe takes down Sirius. You're seeing Papame really trying their best to keep up the team, but it's not really much available as you have Cabraz really able to just wipe the team there. So Stevenson's going to have to play for this recontest here. Seeing how they can position themselves back up against this high ground here that the Lions are maintaining the start. Going to be looking here with it having ults coming on up here for the side of the Mustangs. Definitely going to be looking to potentially go in with this ult here from Root Beer. Nano is ready and available, just taking their time with it as they're trying to see who they can find here. First pick's going to be against Draggery, I should say there. As you find the one support on down. Primal going to be coming on out here from Rapid Cringe, able to assist in finding the first support here of the Mustangs and hold on the point at the moment, but they are going to be losing players very quickly here as they're going to be forced on out. 40 trying to see what else they can do here as Trace is going to have to make a retreat. The Pulse Bomb unleashes and finds its mark on the Rapid Cringe there, sticking its explosive value. Going to be seeing if they can try to play for some more poke here. Blade is ready, and with Nano, that will be a devastating combo to have to play against here. We're going to have to see the Lions play it safe as Williamson's going to try to rotate for this high ground here. Going to be coming up here with the Blade. Finds the first pick as it's going to be rolling in for the next couple. Swinging on through the tank, but not going to find any value as it was cleansed out. However, they do take out the spoon to start. And the point's going to keep on ticking here with 80% in counting right now. It's looking like Williamson is going to be forced to make a last-ditch effort on touch. It really comes down to Dragreet's orbital cannon here going on in order to provide a buff of healing and damage on this point. Makes its touch, Ult's activated here, and now we're going in for the fight. Trying to see who they can find here. Tracer taking a lot of frontline damage, but not really feeling too pressured. In fact, this Kitsune Rush is only going to serve to help Stevenson make their presence known. Finding the tank to start here, and some more. They do lose one, but it's going to be a quick cleanup here as Stevenson is going to be able to cap the first round.
Watch your next move.
Score 1-0.
With that round one completed here, Stevenson has an edge over the Lions here, and it's going to be a pretty decent one at that currently, given that you're going to be seeing they are holding their first round against the Lions here, excuse me. They're going to be trying to play for some more pressure here. Now, the Lions themselves, I dare say, I believe I heard upon some research that they were more for a Hazard style comp, but seeing them play for Diva, Mei, and Reaper tells me that they're going for a more brawl dive. Being able to move in on targets fast and efficiently here as they make their rotations. Stevenson's going to have to really prepare for this distance fight, as they're a bit at a disadvantage since their style is brawl. It's known as a close quarters combat sort of strategy here, and especially when you're playing against a Mei, things could get dangerous. But the Mei is not with the team here right now, so Stevenson could really make a quick push in, realizing that the Mei is out of position, not able to help the team. They're rushing in on targets here. Diva's going to be the first one to go, as the rest are going to have to fall back or die on out here. Mei going to be the last one, sticking around on the high ground, overstaying their welcome to start here, and just going to receive their death now, which staggers them out from a regroup to be able to push in quicker. So not really what you want to have as a fan of Williamson here, but for the Mustangs, this is a great scenario to be playing into, as they're going to be trying to make sure that they can stall for this point as long as possible. So going to be taking a look here. They make the swap for Cabraz over to Genji. It's an interesting selection here, as it does provide some reflex against the incoming damage. The only one they really have to be careful of is the Moira and maybe Rupier, but things are not looking too hot for the side of the Lions at the moment, as they're receiving that amount of spam. Gonna continue on in, canceling the remake there, and any hope to really live to escape the fight. Stevenson making their push known and making their stand there against Williamson. The Lions are going to really have to try to see what their strategy is going into this. Making the swap over the Junkrat now. This could provide for some extra spam and damage that they were lacking in the initial fight. What's going on in here with some additional damage. Doesn't find anyone, but they do get a kill on Cabraz. Now, Rupier here falls to the spam from the Junkrat. High Noon's activated here, finding the kills. Not afraid of the Junkrat here, thanks to High Noon's passive ability, which allows a user to actually receive less damage when they initially activate it, and more the longer they hold the ult. So with that there, it's at 90% and counting. Right now, Stevenson could just completely wipe the competition here against Williamson, but that has time to tell here, as ults are going to be activated from both sides. Pin hits beautifully here. Rapid Cringe has Shatter, needs to let it loose, or not. They actually get the push they need here while saving ults. The only ones they had to use is Dragreet. And that's a best case scenario for them right here, using one ult to win that fight. Stevenson's going to be able to back on out and regroup this. Despite their initial losses, they're not feeling all that much pressured here to start. It will really come down to if 40 loses the shield, however. Going in with those fire strikes there, going to really come down to if Spanky can get this tire here. Tire's going to have to be used now in order to try to ride over the lines, but they're taking too long to get there. Tire hits and they lose their Junkrat, but the tank is down, ladies and gentlemen. And since they've lost it already, they're trying to actually back up for a regroup here. Williamson is finding their picks and actually making the space right now. but they can't get overconfident. They have a good lead, and they have to now maintain that, rotating their ults around over and over and over again. Probably going to be seeing this Kasune Rush and Shatter coming in from Rapid Cringe and the Spoon. So going to have to play it safe here, as Stevenson only has High Noon to utilize. If they get to Fury here, this could be disastrous. Shatter comes on out, as it's only going to find one. That is not what you need to have happen. They lose 1, 2, 3 of the Lions here. The Pride has to back on up. They're trying to see if they can stall it the best they can, but it's really coming down to this. Regret does not get the touch as this blade comes out with Shatter. It unfortunately does not go the way of the Lions. Stevenson takes map number 1. We're going to be seeing play of the game here coming out from none other than Rapid Cringe. Surprisingly. I mean, what we're really seeing out of Rapid here was a great dive on that backline in the first point to really secure the space needed to make the push. But in the end, it came up Mustangs. We're going to hit a quick break, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Not too long of a break as we've had in the past. We're on the King's Row now. Now, the sides have swapped once again. This map has been selected by Williamson. So they're going to be playing on the King's Row, but Stevenson was given the option for sides and time of day for the map. So Stevenson went with a nighttime aesthetic and chose to be on the attacker's side first. So I think that what they're seeing here is that they want to try to set a precedence against their opponents here for the Lions. So Williamson's going to have to play it very carefully here, especially given their lineup. As you're going to see them on the defensive side, they're playing with the Diva, the Mei, the Sojourn, and the same support lineup of Juno and Kiri. So between all of them, this could be a very dangerous situation, having to face this fast-paced brawl that Stevenson is set up for. So looking for some shots to start here. Stevenson's going to have to play it a bit smart into this engagement. Are they aware of the Mei wall? Sort of, but only after the fact. As they're going to try to pin away, just trying to stay alive here. So Stevenson has a general knowledge that the Mei is in play, so they have to watch out for their walls there, as they're going to slowly make their push on up. Going to be seeing that first wall up there, but no real follow-up against it. They're playing a very passive angle as the Mustangs are forcing their way into the room. Excuse me, I'm losing my camera angle. And with that, they're going to be looking for an immediate kill out of the gate with a triple, I dare say, from Quits here right now. I mean, who's really just on a roll here. Playing for the Staggy here, trying to see if they can stall out this Diva in order to make sure that the tank does not respawn in time. They do not. Everyone but the tank gets the close spawn here. So this is a great situation for the Mustangs. With 5.5 minutes on the clock, ready to roll with, they're really set on up for themselves to play the angle. So they're going to be playing for some spam here as we see Cobras swap over to the Junkrat here. I mean, an interesting selection to go into this. One that could prove effective if all the shots hit. I mean, take a look at where they are placing here at the start. Having them bounce around the corner, dealing a bit of extra damage here, and already up to 50% in counting here. So this Junkrat could find an early tire. The only thing next comes after the shatter here, as Stevenson's going to go in for a clean sweep against the Lions, earning them a team kill. Looking very strong, and we're going to be seeing Mr. Serious here move their way on up against Williamson, who's going to be playing to re-engage. With little under 4.5 minutes remaining here, there's not a whole lot of time for the Lions to play with. Space, that is. You're going to be seeing the all coming in here from Quits, just waiting to hit its mark. There it goes. It's its first, second, but no third. As Kasane Rush is activated here, Diva being a threat to all that is alive. But that threat is soon taken care of there, as you're going to get the DMEC going. Soldier activating that overclock there, finding their first kill and looking for some more. But here comes the Tire. Tire immediately shut down with no chance for a recontest here. I know Williamson trying to see if they can run away, but Spanky here, last one alive, just barely able to get around that corner. It's not looking too great for the side of the Lions here right now, as they have to hold for 5 minutes, an ungodly amount of time for defenders to deal with. You usually don't see this unless a very one-sided match here. Or what's this? Spanky here has the high ground. Could really try to play for some poke here if they get a good dive initiated. They're just playing for some spam here. Rapid Cringe going to be able to block that Earth Shatter from 49, but not able to stop the charge as they're able to get 2 here. 3! And some more. Spanky trying their best to live. Picks up the health pack, but it really comes all down to that. After the team kill, no one's going to be able to touch it. Stevenson caps all 3 points, completing round number 1.
Score
Now, if I had a co-host here with me, I'd be loving to chat it up with them, but since I'm all doing a bit of cross-examination here on the defenders, you have to say that what went wrong there? I'll say something that was very problematic for the side of the defenders here of Williamson is that they were really having a hard time maintaining space. I mean, each time their best situation is when they had the wall off here. Reinhardt was alone and isolated and practically shield broken. If they properly pushed onto the Reinhardt here, they could have gotten an early elimination, buying them some extra time. Additionally, when they were engaging on the fights, you saw they had a great wall, but they did not push in. They did not push in quick enough either towards the back line nor the front line. They just sort of held to the corner here. And that can prove to be problematic if you're a Williamson player, because you're giving up a whole lot of space in between. As you take a look, see where the steps are and see where the black car is. If you were to draw a line to where 40 is roughly on the yellow line, right here is where the Mustang's position, and this amount of space is very, very bad for the side of the defenders for Williamson. So now that the sides have swapped here and they're on the attack, how are they going to address this lack of space that they're taking from? Because on the attack, you're forced to take space here. And you're going to have to see, can Williamson provide that ego here? They find the first pick there on Spoon. Spoon taking too many fire strikes. And look at Stevenson right now. They're going to be running their way on in right from the get-go. They lose Root Beer here at the start, which will force them to actually play a bit safer as Cabraz trying to see if they can find some headshots here. Just gets it. A beautiful shot. This could certainly turn the tide here for the side of the Lions as they're going to force Stevenson to run away. Stevenson knows better than to get over aggressive in a fight that is not worth fighting. Instead, they're going to try to play for a regroup, give up a couple of progress, and make sure that they can come in fast and aggressive. Slowly making the rotation right on the point there to stop the progress of the capture, but 40 is taking too much damage in order to recover, unfortunately, as now they themselves are suffering from what Williamson did themselves earlier, where they could not amount to providing pressure onto their opponents. And in such a case, it was impossible there, as they were already staggered for picks. So it's understandable that Stevenson is forced to lose that fight. With a 5-minute time bank awarded to them, Williamson is in a great position here to try to see if they can make up for what they lost on the first round here. So Stevenson going to have to play it smart here as they have to care for this Widow and dive that provided from Spanky. It's a very hybrid mix and not very well sort of situated mesh of heroes for the attackers right now. As you're going to be seeing, Quits is the first one to find their pick there, going in to start with the turret form to provide some extra focus damage. They'll be looking for this. Genji spots it, trying to see if they nailed it with the nade. A beautiful shot there, as they're going to be looking to see that they stop this payload. Right now, Williamson going to play for a regroup. They switch over to a Bastion of their own. A well thought out swap, I dare say, because you just need to match Stevenson at this point in order to provide pressure against what you're facing here. Bastion all coming on in here could be disastrous. First, second hit, third going on out. Cabraz really in a hurt position here and not great. Out of position, getting caught out as you're going to be see Stevenson push their way on into the Lions here. But they stop at the choke here, making sure that they don't over push their limits, because they know overextension could cause them to lose a fight going forward and give up more progress. So we're really going to be keeping an eye here on Rapid Cringe with Dragreet going in here for a Shatter. Has a huge opportunity but knows better than to use it. As this blade is activated, it tries to find some pressure but not really. Stevenson is actually choosing to kite this fight. They're going to fall back and wait for the ults to run out. So it's really coming down to this. Who's going to get this first Shatter here? Is it going to be 40 or is it going to be Rapid Cringe? Let's take a look from the angle. This corner is going to really be the difference maker here, as we're going to be seeing the engagement in a couple of seconds. Here we go. The Shatter comes out and it's going to be a beautiful engagement here at the start, as you're going to be seeing Stevenson push against Williamson here. Despite the beat drop to keep people alive, it is not enough in order to stay up, as you're going to be seeing players fall one by one. Moria going to be the only one to make it out of that fight alive. Now, given that they've engaged in such a very scary push here, they're now swapping over to their comfort pick of Juno and Kiriko. An interesting composition in order to try to play for cleanses, some immortality frames, as you could call them, where you do not receive damage while the immortality frames are in effect. But Stevenson still has an ult available. Rapid Cringe here could easily go in for a shatter, just needs to push past 40 or break their shield. Trying to play it safe. They're looking for an opening, but gets too aggressive, costing them their life, as Quits is going to be wrapping around here for some spam, but actually get potentially taken out by Cabraz, but he does not, as Stevenson's able to actually provide the peel needed to keep their Quits alive. Spanky, you're lucky to not get caught on out, as you're going to be seeing here a minute 40, what was a large time bank before, now is starting to dwindle down here. I mean, it really is coming down to the difficulty that you're seeing Williamson face. They're trying to find some openings, trying to find some angles, but they're not finding them. And you're going to be seeing Rapid Cringe gain a bit impatient on their engagement here. They push in with the K, and they actually get the shatter off with a point-blank shatter to 40, gain a critical smash. That earns them a great amount of space here and actually wins them the second point. So now they're going to be playing for third point capture. With a minute and a half granted to their time bank here, 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining on the clock for Williamson to try to make an effort here. Stevenson is not one to give up without a fight. As you're going to be seeing here, Mr. Serious has an angle for overclock as needed, but playing for just a bit of spam. As just a mere bit of moment before they really go in here, but Spanky is going to be the one to keep an eye on here, as Shatter is going to be met, but not actually find any value. Blade's coming in as well. They're trying to use the Coalescence to stop it, but it's not going to find the value. They get one knocked off the map, but ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for Stevenson's puts, or defensive hold there for that specific fight, as they're going to come out for this last minute push here. Really going to be coming down to how they play with these ults here with the overclock in hand. Going to be making their touch, could utilize it here to go in, but they're going to be using the beat drop to start here. As they make their rotation, they just find pick after pick, but honestly, I dare say that Williamson played that beautifully. What did they do? They made Stevenson ult, and ult went in. They had to use overclock and beat drop to try to engage and counter this push here. While for the side of Williamson, they find an immediate pick on the Rupier there. That's an opening for them, having lost one for the side of the Mustangs. And with Shatter coming up here, definitely looking to go in aggressively here. Could hit the off angle, just needs to find it, but they're playing it very cautiously. Goes for the Shatter. It's a beautiful backline slam. Finds a double hit, providing them the kill on the Mr. Serious and Rupier to fall as well. So now you're in this 3v3, but it's not in favor of Williamson. Why is that? Because of the people left alive. You had 2 DPS in a support, but they were very squishy DPS and positioned in properly here. As you're going to see, Cabraz trying to get away there, does get out successfully, as there's 30 seconds remaining. No ult available for Williamson. They are trying desperately to build up to an ult here, and now, as you're going to be seeing Mr. Serious find Cabraz the start, a Shatter ready in the wings for 40, could be coming around here, goes in with the Shatter, but gets blocked. Not a situation you want to have happen, but one they will take in the end, as they get that credit for knocking him off the map there as well. There is the overtime touch, but it's really coming down to Spanky. Spanky, not really long for their life, as they're going to give that up. Stevenson wins map number 2. As a reminder, this is a best of 5 series, so whoever wins 3 maps will take it. And the Legendary Beasts themselves quits here with the play of the game. They say with all that spam going in, it's no wonder that they could not survive the pressure here. Just finding those picks in the end really won them big. We're going to hit another break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Not even a full minute. Welcome on back. We're here in the potential last match tonight here. It's match point territory here for Stevenson, who have swapped sides once again. This map known as Esperanza here in Italy, I believe. A beautiful map in the heart of the city itself. As you're going to be seeing here, we're playing on a push map. Whoever gets it to the farthest or makes it to its destination will win with a 10-minute time bank to work with. Now, right now, you're seeing that Williamson is really struggling to play against the Mustangs here. They're not doing too bad. All in all, credit where credit's due, Williamson's actually doing a fairly decent job. Where they're coming up short, however, is that they're playing super aggressive into these fights, and it's troublesome, because with how hard you push up, you leave yourself open to counter plays. So, for example, with Rapid Cringe, they were constantly pushing up so aggressively on second point that a number of times they got picked off early. The only thing that saved them was finding some lucky picks here and there with those additional fire strikes to start, and the team just being able to make it in time. If they play as a tighter knit unit and dive properly towards Stevenson's backline, there's a high possibility that they can make a comeback here. But let's tune in here from the start. It's going to be a dive versus brawl situation here. Stevenson sticking to their guns with their picks here between the Sojourn and Bastion. Bastion going to play point blank against Winston. Not really enjoying this type of fight here at the start. But what is this? Cabros with the first pick here at the start. They're actually going to be able to make a counter against Stevenson, taking out their tank, almost finding Mr. Sears. If they can follow up on him, that would be stupendous for the side of the Lions. But the Mustangs are keeping on so much pressure that Williamson does not feel like they have the ability to push back. And having lost 2, they're definitely not looking for that engagement quite yet. Stevenson, however, is going to get their Reinhardt coming back towards the high ground here as we're going to be looking for this dive. Looking at Spoon here, helping rotate the team to this high ground, receives the railgun, and actually utilizes Spanky's reversal to get a kill. This is looking stupendous right now for the Lions here as they're finding pick after pick. They found a complete wipeout against Stevenson here at the start, and they're now taking control at this point. Now, word to the wise, for those of you that don't know, this is actually very favored for Williamson right now. This is a map they wanted to play here because they like their dive. So being able to really utilize the high ground against Stevenson and rotate fast is going to be the bread and butter to their success. So going to be taking a look here. We do see the swap over to Ramatra, a type of player that will be able to actually lock down their opponents and slow them down in engagements. Right here, see that slow there? That's going to make sure people cannot fly away, wall ride, or any of the such. It's a gravity field that keeps them towards the ground. And now you're going to be seeing Stevenson start to show their hooves to the faces of the Lions here, providing high amount of damage, turning the bot over in their control, earning them a team kill. As we're going to be starting into this, Poppy May, excuse me, and Mr. Sears both have ults available, coming up with Quits now and Root Beer to boot. Now don't be too lax now, folks, as you have Cabraz and Rapid Cringe ults online and Spanky coming up on deck. But you will be having the ults coming on in from Quits, trying to find people, but not going to. Stops the point and goes in with the beat drop here at the start. 40 is the only person on point as Blade's going to start going on in here. Looking for some slice and dice action. They find enough on the 40 and turn control of the point into their favor, as we're now going to be seeing an overclock into effect by Mr. Sears to see if they can counter Rapid Cringe. But they're firing so rapidly that they're not really making hits. So it's proving to be a little more detrimental to them. They do, however, make a counterplay with Quits here, who's now playing the position of their tank. As for the side of Williamson, is going to have to retreat and regroup here. Now Cabraz still has ult available, and they're coming up on the Greets Kitsune Rush. They're playing a high and mighty rush style dive comp. However, they do unfortunately give up control of this point here. Here's the rotation to the high ground. Cabraz with the overclock in effect, looking for Mr. Serious. Going to have to try to settle for Quits. Quits is down, and they trade back 2 for Williamson, however. Spoon not long for this world, as they're going to actually have to either die or get out. Williamson not looking too hot at the moment as they lose player after player. Another issue is that they're constantly staggering themselves. They have some great engagements here, but then the team fight gets really messy, where I'm not sure if it comes down to communication or if it's really a focus on targets, because something is not clicking quite right here for their positioning against Stevenson, because Stevenson is actually going hard aggressive in. Here with the Kitsune Rush, Quits gets sniped from the balcony here as they make their push on in. Ramatra's Annihilation into effect here, almost finding one, as you're going to be seeing Rapid Cringe able to make the escape, but can Genji? No siree. That Annihilation just sucks away your life force, not allowing you to really stay around long. You have to get out and swiftly in order to have effectiveness as a character like Genji. And right now, Stevenson, understanding that, they're trying to play fast themselves and utilize their range, the space they have here against their opponents in order to maintain the pressure. You're now going to be seeing the dive coming in here on against Williamson, pushing their way on in. Quits the first to fall again. Now they have to take down 40 here. If they cannot, this could prove disastrous. Rapid Cringe is going to be that first one to fall for the side of Williamson. Next with Spoon. This is not looking good for the side of Williamson right now. The Lions really trying to see how they can reposition this. They take down 40, or Root Beer I should say, and 40 is in a spot where they can be dove. In fact, it looks like they do get a successful dive out of it and find a pickup there. Now, Mr. Serious is in the backline here against Dragreed, and Dragreed looks like they could win it. They do get the pick off in the end, are able to turn the point. There's 4 minutes left in the match here, and they have to try everything they've got in order to make sure they can stop Stevenson's push. Going to be taking this from the eyes here of Spanky. They're joking about the 1v1, but not paying attention to the rotation. A little late on that rotation initiation there, but their focus is on moving this point. Winston going for a hard dive here. This could prove fatal for them as they're now going to be forced to use the Primal on into it. Winston getting that Primal in actually is going to allow them to live, but it's really going to be looking for the blade here. Too slow to make the initiation of a push here, as you're going to be seeing the Mustangs actually counterplay it. They're trying so hard to get Spanky, they do, but what cost, I dare say. Dragreed has fallen here, and it's a 3v4 in favor of Stevenson. If Williamson can actually rotate here quickly enough and find some secured picks, they will be able to stop their push. That's slow, game blocked by the shield, unfortunately does cost Spoon their life there as they find the follow-up pick on Cabraz. Not a good situation here as they are staggered respawns coming back from this initiation here, and it's going to be a hard fought match given that they went in with 4 ults into that last fight. The only one left here is Dragreed's Kasune Rush, and look at what they're doing here. They're trying for an odd rotation, but the point's already made its push. I mean, if Stevenson wanted to, they could have just continued going on in. Spanky way out of position, being the first one in there, and losing Spoon as well. It's just not a well-used Kasune Rush there. They didn't fully utilize the space of an open hallway there with their dive potential. Instead, they actually get pressured on back here as Stevenson is taking full advantage of this space, moving their way on in with the Annihilation, finding the residual picks left and right. Tried for a slide in, but unfortunately, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the game. Stevenson takes the series. And with our last play of the game being earned by none other than 49, the Philosopher themselves. Really big way of making this push here at the end of the game. Just constant pressure against their opponents. Annihilation, Fist, the whole works. Well, that's going to be it for us here tonight. We do have another match Friday, folks. So I hope to see you all then. Until then, stay frosty. Bye-bye.